Welcome to Barcelona, a city where history, art and architecture all come together. From the buzzing streets of La Rambla, the stunning architect of Gaudí, the relaxing Parc de la Citadelle and the ancient Roman fortifications. This city has it all, whether you're here for the culture or just the Mediterranean vibe. Barcelona is guaranteed to steal your heart. Let's explore.
As you can probably see, we're in Port and it's day 6 and we're at Barcelona. So today I don't think Joanne's going to join me for a walk. Instead I will go out and explore the city and see what there is to see. The port here looks very industrial, as most of the ports are. We haven't yet had breakfast, so it'll be up to breakfast in a minute and then I will shoot off out. Tonight we've got another showing in the Bright Light Society, which we're both looking forward to. This one comes with 3 free cocktails, so let's see what that brings. Anyway, better get on to breakfast.
Barcelona has 3 different sides to its port. A tourist port, an industrial port and the commercial port. And here is a quick whip round showing you the scene.
There's an interesting church up there on the hill.
Right, we had our normal breakfast, which was absolutely delightful, and now it's time to get off. Cunard have laid on a complimentary shuttle service which will drop us off at the World Trade Centre, and that's really near to most of the key tourist areas. It will take about 15 minutes each way to do the journey, and the last complimentary shuttle back is at 5 o'clock. Will give me around 8 hours in Barcelona, which will be more than adequate to see the sights that I want to see. The things I absolutely love about Barcelona is the bustling street, the Rambla, the absolutely superb markets that you get down there, as well as the Gaudí architecture. So that's what I'm going to be up to. To make my way around Barcelona, I preloaded some offline maps of the city onto Google Maps, and I will drop a pin where the actual bus drops us off so I can easily find my way back to it.
So we took a complimentary shuttle to get into the city, and I've just got off the bus and I'm now just sort of trying to get my bearings and start exploring. Some lovely monuments around here and some lovely, very gothic-y looking buildings. So let me have a look. I think I'm by the statue of Columbus, which is just up ahead of me.
At the southern end of La Rambla, here, 130 feet above the street level, you will find a bronze monument, a tribute to Christopher Columbus. Just under the monument is a viewing platform that gives you superb views over the old Barcelona city and the harbour. This lovely Gothic piece of architecture is the Palace of Justice. This colourful building is the Navy headquarters. We are heading towards Les Rambles, known for its historic architecture, markets, street artists, museums, theatres, and like most popular tourist areas, pickpockets. It is hard to think of it as the sandy riverbed from which its name derives. It is early in the morning, and the street has not yet woken up. Stalls are being set up, shops opened, performers walk to their pitches, and the commuters are out in force. It is an ideal time to see the raw street. This is the Boqueria Market, the first of Barcelona's local markets, being opened in the early 19th century. Originally it was known as St. Joseph's Market, after the convent that had occupied the site. Before then, though, it had been the site of peddlers selling meat in the 13th century. These days it's a vibrant, bustling space with beautiful architecture, selling vegetable, meat, fish and thousands of other products in stalls that had great charm and imaginative, colourful presentations. As well as being frequented by the locals, it's also become a popular tourist location.
Well, I'm just coming out of a local fruit and food market. It had some street food restaurants, and it had everything from sweets to fruit to meat to fish. What really impressed me was the way that everything was displayed. It just looked so artistic. It was really well mixed, a good mix of colours, really popped. Lovely little street market that was.
La Virreina is named after the wife of the Peru Viceroy who commissioned this fabulous building. These days, this building is the headquarters of Barcelona's Cultural Institute. Behind the highly decorated facade, the interior courtyard and staircase gives a glimpse of the wealth that built it. It has an unusual Baroque and Rococo style and is one of the emblematic places in the Rambla worth seeing. I've just taken a video call from our daughter in the middle of some retail therapy. I give it less than a minute before Joanne knows. Plaça de Catalunya is the main central square in Barcelona, and it features statues, fountains and open spaces where people and pigeons gather. This square often hosts concerts, demonstrations and celebrations. It's a large, bustling hub. From the square you can walk directly onto some of the city's most important shopping and sightseeing venues, and the metro, bus and train lines converge here. This is Casa Pascual y Pons, a beautiful neo-Gothic modernist building featuring pointed arches, ornate stonework, stained glass and decorative towers. I just love the architecture around Barcelona and particularly La Rambla. Even the street lamps have that fantastic Baroque styling. Here we are, standing on Passage de Gracia, in front of the first of today's Antoni Gaudi's creations, the dazzling Casa Batlló from 1906.
So we're at the Casa Batlló, and it looks a magnificent house from the outside. Absolutely fantastic.
With balconies that look like masks, columns like bones and colourful ceramic mosaics that shimmer like fish scales in the sun. That is why locals sometimes call it the House of Bones. Since 2005 it's been a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Today it's a museum. A few steps away from Passage de Gracia in Barcelona's 19th century district stands a building that catches your eye immediately. Yes, you've arrived at Museum Tapias with its cloud and chair sculpture on the top of the building. Everywhere you can see Gaudi's influence, such as the cracked ceramic organic benches in the streets. It is a short walk further up Passage de Gracia to visit another UNESCO World Heritage Site. This one was also created by Gaudi. We are standing in front of Casa Milà. Its rugged, undulating stone facade rises from the street. No straight lines, no flat walls, just curves everywhere. The balconies look like twisted seaweed, and the whole building feels organic and alive. It would be his last piece of civil architecture and one of his most admired works. Tickets could be bought around the side. I got a senior discount and I picked up an audio guide before I then stepped into the first courtyard. On entering I just had to look up. The light wells and colourful walls pull sunlight deep into the building, with twisting shapes, vibrant murals and organic flows that blur the line between architecture and art. Here, luxury rental apartments combine with ground floor commercial spaces. Inside offers a peek into a bourgeois past with the reconstructed noble apartment, authentic early 20th century furnishings and Gaudi's ingenious design details like curved walls and custom-made furniture transport you back to a bygone age. The audio guide said that these tiles were marble, but they look more like ceramic to me. Unlike Casa Batlló, A remodel, Casa Milà was built from scratch as a residential and commercial building for Pier Milà and his wife. When it was first built, the locals didn't love it. They teased it and called it the Pedara, the stone quarry. The building was completed in 1912, having taken 6 years to build. It was a completely new concept, one that was both avant-garde and practical. A revolutionary design including the self-supporting stone facade, an underground garage, open-plan apartments and natural ventilation. These influenced modern architecture far beyond Barcelona. Separated from the kitchen by 2 pocket doors, this area is the staff restroom. The apartment truly reflects the lives of the wealthy, with a maid's bedroom next to the child's bedroom, space for the maid to work, office spaces, a master bedroom with what would have been a very modern ensuite bathroom, a light ventilated space with fantastic views over the city from the windows with their elaborate balconies. View out of that window must have been fantastic. Lovely balcony. We are now on the first floor, which was actually the home of Mr. Milà himself. The idea was simple but clever: attract wealthy families who wanted the prestige of living on this luxurious avenue, but who couldn't afford to build their own mansion, so apartments was the solution. However, working with Gaudí wasn't easy. He was so confident in his genius that he just ignored Milà's requests, and even the strict rules of the town hall, which kept fining the project for missing permits. He also clashed with Milà over the interior design. Eventually, the disagreements became so intense that Gaudí walked away from the project. The dispute went to court, where Gaudí won his fees and compensation. Unfortunately, this left Milà in financial trouble, struggling to maintain the house and waiting nearly 2 years just to get permission to rent out the apartments. This was a double bedroom, and the curves of the furniture were something that Gaudí was particularly interested, reflecting also the curves that you find in the ceilings and on the flower motifs. And over there is a fully functional bathroom with a bidet, toilet and bath. And here we are inside that bathroom, which was attached to the main bedroom. And the floors are now parquet rather than marble. Like all good tourist places, this one had several gift shops, and this is the one that's on the first floor, which had a huge range of books and other material on Gaudí, as well as some jewellery and other artistic pieces. It was actually quite a nice experience going round here, and it was fun to look out over the city and take in the views beyond. That's the apartment finished, and we will now be going up to the attic. The attic is a stunning example of Gaudí's innovative structural design, with brick arches supporting the roof, maximising the interior space and creating an organic flowing space with no straight lines or sharp angles. Today the attic is a museum known as the Espai Gaudí, hosting exhibitions explaining Gaudí's work, architectural principles, his creative process and functional art. Here we have a fantastic model of the Casa Milà itself, and gives you a real good impression of how the building looks. Gaudí is known for his organic, natural designs. He didn't use complex maths though to calculate them, instead preferring to look at things in a different way. Here the reflection of a chain structure suspended gives rise to the arches that support the ceiling. And there you can see how that chain structure translates into the architecture. This is the Casa Batlló that we saw earlier on. Here is a cross section of it. This is an example of fractal growth and how his designs intelligently absorbed the natural forms. As well as being known for his organic architecture, Gaudí also created functional art and furniture that embodied his unique vision. Unlike typical decorative furniture, his pieces were an extension of his architectural philosophy, his furniture often mimicking natural shapes, trees, plants, waves and bones. His chairs, benches and tables were ergonomic and complemented the spaces, often being custom made for specific rooms. There was also an interesting video here showing how he derived the natural designs behind his handles and hooks. However, the thing I most remember from my previous visits, and the absolute highlight, for me anyway, of Casa Milà, is when you step out onto the rooftop terrace. Here you enter what can only be described as a dreamscape. It feels like an entire different world. Instead of flat terraces, Gaudí designed a fantasy landscape of undulating floors, spiralling staircases and surreal sculptures, the guardians, that cleverly disguise functional elements like the smoke vents and air circulation shafts. The name due to their twisted helmet-like forms resembling armoured knights or guardians standing at attention. Some are covered in broken ceramic tile mosaics, others in rough stone, giving them a powerful sculptural presence. To many visitors, they look like a surreal army protecting the house and its inhabitants. In the 19th century, their appearance shocked people because they didn't resemble the traditional chimneys at all. Today, they're considered some of Gaudí's most imaginative designs as they blend practicality, utility with dreamlike artistry. Every curve and rise of the roof has a purpose. The undulating surfaces hide water tanks and create natural drainage, whilst offering a dramatic perspective of the building below. From different vantage points, you can see the Sagrada Família, the Mediterranean Sea, and the city stretching out before you. From up here you get a completely different perspective of the two courtyards. This is the larger one, the one we were in previously, which opens on directly from the Grand Boulevard, and this is the second, a slightly smaller, more private but equally artistic, painted walls that connect smoothly with the building's staircases and elevators. Both courtyards allow the sunlight to flood down, bringing natural light and ventilation. From the top of Casa Milà you can see Sagrada Família, and you know it's a relatively straight street to get there, so I decided to walk it. It would take about 20 minutes. I realised that I could probably do it on the metro in half that time, but I actually like wandering along the city and take it in as I go along. It didn't disappoint. There was lots to see, and I was able to actually stop off at a corner store, pick up some bottled water, it was lovely and cold, and get myself a well-earned drink on my route as well. I did think about grabbing one of these tuk-tuks. There are a lot of them around, and they seem to be taking tourists around the city. Gaudí dedicated the remaining decades of his life to creating Sagrada Família, a stunning Roman Catholic church inspired by nature. His design featured his hallmark biomimicry and natural forms that we've seen in the other two architectures of his that we visited today, but with heavy Gothic undertones. After Casa Milà was completed, it became his sole project. The church has been under construction since 1882, with the goal of completion in 2026, a whole century after Gaudí's death. Gaudí was a profoundly religious man and undertook 25% of the design, as well as providing a roadmap for future architects to complete his grand vision. He remains ever present, buried in the crypt. I have previously explored the insides of this absolutely beautiful church, and it's absolutely magnificent. If not, a quite tiring climb up some of those steps if I remember correctly. However, today I'm not planning to go inside. I have another 4 hours before the last bus leaves, and there's a few other things that I want to see first. So I will content myself with taking a walk around and exploring it from every angle. The one thing that is very obvious is there's a lot of work going on, and there's also a lot of work left to do. I'm somewhat sceptical about whether or not it will achieve the 2026 deadline that they've set themselves, but let's see. Opposite the Sagrada Família is the Plaça De Gaudí, a small park with a pond and the odd duck. It was unfortunately locked up, otherwise it would have made a great place to chill out. The roads around this area are full of cafes and restaurants with outdoor seating and tree-lined avenues. Behind the church is the Plaça de la Sagrada Família, which is the route we originally came in via. This is a lovely square full of trees and paths, as well as the odd sculpture, with some great photo opportunities of the church. So I decided to amble back towards the World Trade Center, which is where the buses I go from. So that I could take in the city, I decided to go a different way to the way that I'd come. I love this traditional barber's seat. I like this graphic on a garage, really fitting. The route I'm taking back will effectively be the third leg of a square, and we're going via the Arc de Triomphe. Now, this is not the Arc de Triomphe that's in France, but it's the one in Barcelona, which I was quite anxious to see what it looked like. This is the type of building I like, a nice modern contemporary building sat amongst some historical architecture. This was a government building, the Department of the Interior, I believe. This route was a reasonably leisurely stroll, and it had some lovely bits of architecture to take in as I walked around. This is the Arc de Triomphe, or Arch of Victory. It was built as a memorial arch and the main access gate for the 1888 Barcelona World Fair. A wide promenade leads from the arch to the site where the World Fair originally had been. It's now been transformed into a park. We will see that later on. On my visit, there was a substantial set of building work taking place on the promenade, and it was not possible to walk along it. Instead, I had to take a road on one side, passing the Supreme Justice Building. This is the park I referred to earlier, the one that's built on the site of the 1888 World Fair. I was attracted by the large, square, Gothic red building to one side that the locals call the Castle of the Three Dragons. Originally it was built as a cafe or restaurant for the World Fair. I hadn't purposefully meant to come here, it was just that when I was here it looked quite an intriguing space. Once the site of a military citadel, then Barcelona's only green space. These days it's a place to stroll, picnic, people watch, or rent a rowboat on the little lake. There are palm trees and sculptures sprinkled throughout, as well as it being home to the Catalan Parliament, the Barcelona Zoo, and the Museum of Geology. These are little gems that most tourists probably miss, but they're a great part of what makes this park feel more like a botanical treasure trove than just a public garden. There are two types of unique greenhouses here, each one different with its own personality. The Hivernacle, or Winter Garden, was developed for the World Fair. It's a gorgeous iron and glass structure, airy, filled with natural light, and designed to showcase exotic tropical plants, palms, orchards, and lush greenery. It feels like stepping back into some Victorian botanical display. The umbracle or shade house, made of brick and wood with slatted sides that filter sunlight. It creates a cool, shaded environment perfect for Mediterranean and subtropical species. Originally, it was meant to protect the delicate plants from Barcelona's strong sun. The atmosphere is calm, almost cathedral-like, with its high arches of filtered light. A red path cuts through the garden, with plants surrounding you, really adding to the vibe. A series of benches are arranged around the garden so you can sit back and admire the wide variety of different plant species that they have here. The Geology Museum, a charming, old-school institute, unassuming yet full of character and history. Its atmosphere evoking an era when natural history was showcased in wooden cabinets with meticulous labelling. Today it also serves as a vibrant research hub, attracting paleontologists from around the world. I barely scratched the surface of this park, but it looks like an ideal place to explore further and to soak up the city's laid-back vibe. Now let's get on our way. I continue to make my way using my downloaded Google Maps. I believe I'm running parallel to the Mediterranean at this stage and attempting to get back to the Columbus Monument, from where I can then make my way back to the Trade Centre. I was taking a shortcut when I stumbled across this lovely area. Loads of street art, and as you know, I don't half like street art, as well as some art galleries where you could buy pieces. Very nice. It's amazing what you find walking around the city. We're at the old Roman wall and defence towers. These are amongst the most significant traces of the city's ancient heritage. They originate from the Roman colony of Barcino, so around 15 BC during the reign of Emperor Augustus, long before Barcelona was formed. Barcelona has now expanded considerably from that early settlement. It's now the final leg of our journey, and I'm going up via Laietana, and that's a road that leads up to the Mediterranean. It seems to be a major thoroughfare and very different to the streets that we've been roaming around recently. The top of the road is this magnificent square known as the Post Office Square, and that's because it's the home of the Central Post Office, a 20th century building. We've now crossed over the road and we're walking besides the Mediterranean on our way back towards the World Trade Centre, a short distance away. I got back with ample time, around 4:15, so 3/4 of an hour before the last bus left. As soon as I put my feet on the stairs to go up into the bus, I took a video call from my daughter. Her timing is immaculate. Still, we had a good signal and we were able to exchange news as I made my way back to the port. Embarkation back on the ship was super easy. There were absolutely no queues, really easy to get on, and there was a nice cold drink waiting for me. And how hot it was, that was really appreciated and went down a treat. It's really hot out. It was about 34 degrees when I was out walking. Far too hot to be doing it, but I had a good day. I first of all went down La Rambla. Excuse my pronunciation for all these names.
Spanish doesn't come natural to me, let's just put it like that. But I took in the sights. I found a very nice food market down there, which you will see on the film. And then I just kept on going, and eventually I arrived at the Casa Milà, La Pedra. And that was the last civil piece of work that Gaudí did. And then I decided I'd go across to La Sagrada Família, which is the church, which is still not finished. There was a lot of work going on there, and there's obviously a lot that's going to still be required to be done. I didn't go inside, I just went around the outside. Didn't really have the time. And then on the way back I found a little park. It was the Park de la Ciutadella. It was just a really nice setting. There's a museum there as well, which you have to pay to get in. I didn't really have time to make use of the museum as I needed to get back. I really do appreciate Cunard putting on board these buses to take us into the city centre. It makes it so much easier to get in there and enjoy yourself. Anyway, we're due to leave the port. I think we've been delayed. We were due to all be on board by 5:30, which sort of suggests to me a 6 o'clock leaving. But apparently we're waiting for something to turn up around 6:15 before we go. And tonight we're going to see another do in the Bright Light Society, and we're hoping that we'll be able to squeeze a meal in first. And I think I forgot to say what we're going to see on at the Bright Light Society. It's Bittersweet Symphony, which is not one that I've seen before. You have to pay for this one. This one's actually about $49 per person, but apparently it includes 3 free cocktails. So no doubt we will be having fun. Given the strength of the cocktails at previous Bright Light Society events, they tend to be a bit on the potent side.
This was supposed to be a time-lapse showing our departure from the port, but as you can see, we haven't moved a bit.
Cheddar cheese, onion croquette with some, I don't know what this is actually. Nice, very nice, but I don't know what it is. Tomatoes, carrot, very nice.
I'm going for crayfish salad, which looks really nice.
A bit like a prawn cocktail.
It's a bit like a prawn cocktail.
Does it taste like a prawn cocktail?
No, it's a bit different, but it's very nice. Similar but different.
Well, this looks nice. I've forgotten what it's called, but it's chicken. Indonesian chicken. It's very, very, very nice. Lovely.
I've got exactly the same Indonesian chicken.
Cheers.
Let's have a... No, it's very nice. Nice and tangy, actually.
As opposed to spicy.
Yeah. It's got an after kick as well, but it's really nice.
Chocolate cheesecake with a toffee sauce.
Eating all your toffee sauce now.
I know. Nice. Oh.
Thank you. I've also gone for the chocolate cheesecake. That looks nice. It doesn't have the base that cheesecake should have.
No.
No.
It's really like a sort of mousse.
Mousse, yeah. Very nice, but not quite what I expected.
We will discover worlds where essence and environment intertwine to create an unforgettable sensory journey. Vodka-based tipple with a touch of bergamot and lemon.
Set the summertime on fire. I want candy. I want candy. Thank you. Cunard cupcakes. Peel back that wrapper and give it a squish.
Astronomy! And that is the fascinating study on how the brain receives flavours.
Sugar. Oh, honey, honey. You are my candy girl.
Marvellous. Now, I always feel that the kind of music playing sets an expectation for a meal. Right. We're just going to let these be delivered a little bit more, my friends, and then we'll get cracking on to the next realm. Notice the drinks in front of you, all coming your way. This world, smooth grooves, like coffee, should be sipped with rapt attention. Can you feel the pulses of music getting stronger with every bite? Colour enhances our sense of anticipation. I invite you all to bite into the little bonne bouche, which is the orange jelly on the plate, and awaken your palates with a popping passion fruit surprise.
2, 3. You'll know where your stateroom is by the time your voyage is over.
My friends, open your eyes. For our final riveting reveal, I invite you all to upend your carafes into your glasses and stir slowly. Heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for joining me on this taste trip. Your presence has added a real spark to our gathering.
So we've just made it back to the room and we've been looking at the bitter sweet symphony, which was very different. A mixture, a cacophony of sight, sounds, smells and taste is how it's actually announced, but it was very different to what we've seen previously in the Bright Light Society, and we really enjoyed it. But we still haven't left port. We thought we would leave port, probably 2 hours ago, but we're still here in the port and obviously waiting for something to happen which hasn't yet happened. But still, let's see what happens. Tomorrow we're at sea, obviously looking forward to just relaxing around on the ship, doing something different for a change. Anyway, that about wraps it up. If we get to leave port soon, then I'll obviously give you an outage of what leaving port looks like.
We had a good grand side view of the pilot getting on and off, and then it was heading straight out to the open sea. Really nice view.